Hello, friends, Romans, countrymen, or should I say, river lords, dragon riders, small folk. Welcome back to my channel. My name is Miscellaneous Gab, and today we are going to be having a little chat-see about House of the Dragon Season 2, Episode 6. Now, I have not been on my HOTD game, so if you want to see more of that, make sure you comment, like, and subscribe, and we'll have more chats. Before I begin this episode, one housekeeping item. I had something so big spoiled for me. Remember, I don't read the books. I didn't read the books. I read the Game of Thrones books, but not the House of the Dragon books. I was watching an Alt-Shift X live stream. He normally does live streams on Sunday nights. If you haven't checked out his material, go do that. What are you doing? In the live chat, someone spoiled something so big for me. And it's like when you see something and you don't really want to see it, but you can't unsee it. And then someone else said the same spoiler. And this is a humongous spoiler. And I won't say anything more because I'm nice and I don't want to give that away. If you want to know what the spoiler is, go message me on my TikTok and I will tell you. But all this to say, if that's you, I don't like you and I'm not your friend. We shouldn't spoil things like that for people because it takes the fun out of things. That is my lesson on morality for the day. If you came here for Hot D, let's get started. It's nice to see some Lannisters back at it. Lannisters, I feel like, are some of the most extra people in Game of Thrones, and I'm here for it. I could be a Lannister. I could very well be a Lannister.
We will make an alliance with the Triarchy. Stone's throw away.
I would just like to say that Ewan Mitchell's voice and Aemond's voice by extension, most soothing and compelling thing that I think I've ever heard. Like, he could go tell me to go treat with the Triarchy and I would have no choice but to accept. So Aemond is doing his thing in full swing. He is ready to go, taking that title of Prince Regent to heart. And then he does two things that are so savage in this scene. Alicent, she just can't win. The 1K who wants her love is currently burnt to a crisp at this moment. Aemon's firing his own mom. She has no more political power. It's very sad.
There is Princess Rhaenyra.
She has attempted it, alas, but the dragons here would not take her as a rider.
So I knew that this could not go well with Sir Darklyn, but part of me held out, really hoping that the whole plan for this guy, this motherfucker right here. Raise your hand if you are sick of Damon's nightmares. Me. You all know I love Damon, but the nightmares are getting really old, and to be honest, like these two nightmares felt like it was just so Paddy Considine could come back. And I love Paddy Considine. I loved Viserys. Did we need this? If there isn't like an immediate and clear payoff from all these nightmares, like ASAP Rocky, it will just feel fan servicey, and this needs a payoff. Like, I understand that he is replaying these scenes with Viserys almost like word for word as happened in season 1, but this time he's not being a douche about it.
Did you say it? I don't know what you mean.
The heir for a day.
Did you say it?
The heir for a day.
If there can be the payoff, if this marks a real and clear turning point in Damon's character, all for it. It will have been worth it. But guys, it's been 4 episodes of nightmares, and Damon, in all his glory, for how smart he is, like, wakes up from this nightmare and starts choking this guy. He just loves to choke people and being like, "You're the reason behind my nightmares." Is it him, or is it the witch that's been following you around, who really appears right when you wake up, is giving you strange concoctions, and who's telling you things about yourself that she has no business knowing? It's clearly this other person. She's cooking up all these concoctions in her apothecary. Alice Rivers, we don't really know what her intentions are. He's about to leave and she's like, "No, wait, come back. Like, don't get on your noodle dragon." I have a hunch that all your problems will be sorting themselves out. And by the end of the episode, we learn that Grover Tully, who has been very unalive basically this whole time, can't control his words, can't control his bowels, that he is dead. This girl definitely had a hand in it. He kicked the bucket. Imagine that. What I would like to know is, what in the flying fuck do these dragon keepers think they're doing with these wooden ass sticks? Okay, so when sea smoke comes up like this reminds me so much of my dog when I'm eating dinner at the table, my coffee table, and my dog's like, "Can I have some chicken?"
Rhaenyra herself stop you. Oh, Grace.
Obviously, it doesn't go well. It goes horribly wrong. He toasts him. Rhaenyra's reaction is so funny because it's so real. It's like when you think you have this great idea and you think it's going well, and then you have to nope the hell out of there. Like, come on, we gotta get out. We gotta get out. I watched the behind the scenes episode, and who would have thought having actual stunt people being lit on fire is insane. It's insanity. So if you haven't watched the behind the episode, I admire their craft so much and just how much thought goes into literally every second of the scenes that we see. The small folk are hungry, they're getting pissed off. Rhaenyra's counsel is mean to her and constantly undermines her, so she's really finding a friend in Mysaria, the master of spies, which is very interesting. Like, when you're dealing with a spy master, you don't know where their loyalties lie. Like, yes, they're helping you, but if a spy master wanted to get in your inner circle, that's exactly what a spy master would do. So they hatched this really great idea to send Trojan horse food boats.
My prince, it is an honor I've never considered.
Larys thinks he's like, got him.
To serve as hand, you toad to fetch him.
When I first watched this, I was like, did he just call Larys a toad or a toe? Either way, it's hilarious, but I feel like the toe, it has to have a little bit extra burn. So Larys, like, you see a little pep in his step, like he's like, oh, my lord, thank you for asking me to be your hand. He's like, no, you toe. I'm talking about my father, Otto Hightower. Get his ass back here. Go fetch him. So Larys is like, ooh, okay, this one is going to be hard to control. I got to go back to the burned one and appeal to him. I feel like Aemond is in his fuck you guys for bullying me era. He is now going to be the bully because he was bullied a lot as a child. So he goes and bullies his brother. Speaking of bullying, puts basically the symbol of his power, those little balls, those marbles, into his burns. Like, love you, but you are turning into a big asshole. So he's basically like, you didn't see anything, right? You challenged Meleese, and then I feel bad for Aegon. I do. Raise your hand if you feel bad for Aegon. Okay, so then we have Rhaena, who sees that there's been a large dragon doing things around the Vale, and clearly that's not young boy Joff's dragon. Burn marks are too large. So then we have more Rhaenyra waffling and feeling bad for herself. I like Rhaenyra, but I did see this analysis where it's like they're trying so hard to make Rhaenyra the good guy, like the hero and the protagonist of this show, when in the books it's obviously way more morally gray. I do think that they are trying too hard to make her like Dany pre-season 8 pretty much. I'm ready for more morally gray Rhaenyra. I don't need her to always be the nice and reasonable one, because like no one in this world is really that nice and reasonable, and I think that's the world of the books from what I understand. But Rhaenyra has been reasonable for so many episodes. She has so many reasons to be not reasonable right now. Her husband is running amok, having an ayahuasca journey off at Harrenhal and not talking to her. Her son is dead. Her BFF cousin, aunt, mother-in-law, etc., Rhaenys, and basically strongest dragon rider is dead. They are usurping her throne, okay? She's slapping her small council. One of her best knights and Queensguard is just been incinerated. It's time for her to be unreasonable. And a lot of people are saying that this season of House of the Dragon feels really slow. And at this rate, like at first they thought it was going to be 3 seasons. I heard someone say that if they are actually going to cover everything that happens in the book, that you're looking at 5 seasons. I'm all for slow burn, right? That's what we loved about Game of Thrones season 2, season 4. It's slow. It takes its time. It's developing characters. I appreciate House of the Dragon for that. So I don't mind if House of the Dragon moves slow. I mean, we're on episode 6. We've had a baby die. We've had the Cargill Bowl. We've had the Rook's Rest, Meleese, that huge fight. We've had people dying. We've had aftermath. We've had consequences. We've had riots. So I actually think we've had a lot going on this season, but it's when these characters that they're spending so much time to develop aren't making sense. And I think I said this 2 or 3 episodes ago, Rhaenyra, you gotta do something. People of King's Landing find her boats with food. Great move, great look, but how are they ever supposed to share it? Imagine a politician that tries to win over the heart of the people by actually doing something that's good for them, instead of just pitting half the country against the other half of the country. Wouldn't that be nice? Why don't we just start doing things for the people and winning over support that way? Wouldn't that be crazy, guys? Wouldn't that be fucking nuts? So Alicent talks to Gwaine, who's a little shooketh after Rook's rest. How could you not be? And asks about her son Daeron, which has been mentioned. Alicent and Viserys had 4 children. There's an extra son who is grown up at court with the Hightower relatives. So he's basically like, yeah, your son, he's really chill. He's kind. He's good looking, he's creative, smart, a good fighter, whatever. And she's like, is that because I didn't raise him? And her brother's nice and is like, I think it's because he didn't grow up here. Here kind of makes people bad. We didn't see much of Crispy Cole this episode, but she gives Crispy Cole this final look. It's giving last time they're going to see each other. I don't know this. Remember, this isn't a spoiler. I have no idea what's going to happen. You tell me what you think. Don't you dare spoil anything. Okay, so we have Helena giving cryptic messages about a cricket that will not sing. They go in town to light a candle and it turns into a riot. The queen and her secret service, if you will, are not covering all vantage points correctly. They probably should have just stayed in the sept and blocked everything off while they got the crowd under control. But we see this episode is called Smallfolk. The Smallfolk are smallfolking. What more will the smallfolk? Alicent got this cut on her arm. Really reminded me of when she cut Rhaenyra in, I think, the Driftmark episode.
My father named it sorcery, accusing a member of our household of casting a malign spell. People will pity you, either behind your back or in your presence.
Conversation between Larys and Aegon reminded me a lot of when Tyrion and Bran have that conversation about bastards and broken things and cripples, and how being crippled, being handicapped in this world because men are so valued for their strength, that he will be underestimated. And while that will basically curse him for the rest of his life, it will be an opportunity. So he's appealing to Aegon. We don't know kind of how Aegon is reacting to all of this. But it looks like Larys wants to get power out of this. Aemond just called him a toad/toe. So now he's going back to Aegon. He also mentions a bit about his birth, and he mentions Alice Rivers. So we know he and Alice go way back since the day of his birth. And the only question is, are they working together? Are they friends or foes? This scene with Cerys crying over the body and Damon helping him, and this is another nightmare, another ayahuasca trip. I watched the behind the scenes episode and they said that this scene was almost just as hard to shoot as the riot scene because of all the candles that needed to be lit, since they're just basically using candles for their lighting. The amount of effort and work that goes even into a flashback fan service scene is still just quite impressive. Like, the whole production scale is so impressive. Okay, so then we have this scene with Sea Smoke and Alan Hall, who is probably Corlys's other bastard. There's like this whole other thing in the book. When Sea Smoke is going after this guy, I just feel like it's like that horny dog in the dog park that won't leave your dog alone and just like keeps coming because he has one thing on his mind, and that's to hump your dog. A mix of eagerness and determination, but also dominance. Sea Smoke is being a horny dog at the dog park. And it begs the question, is Laenor dead? So love this claiming scene. I loved this scene. So then we have the make-out mashup of Rhaenyra and Mysaria. I love this. I'm not gonna lie, like that hug. And when she tells her about her traumatic childhood and Rhaenyra just like embrace her, I'm like, yeah, they're gonna kiss. It makes sense. I know there's just like all this online chatter about all this, whatever. I don't care about any labels. I don't care about any of this bullshit. If I were either of them in this exact moment, feeling this exact way, I'd probably do the exact same thing. Mysaria has never trusted anyone. She has been used for her body, for her secrets, her whole life. Rhaenyra has been constantly underestimated because of her gender, and they found this moment together. So their passionate kiss is interrupted by someone coming in and saying, hey, by the way, we saw Sea Smoke has a rider. Do we want to summon the small council? Rhaenyra is at odds with her small council, and she's like, nah, fam, I'm gonna get on my dragon. I'm gonna do what I've been wanting to do for a while now, and I'm gonna take action. I'm gonna go for a ride. So those are my thoughts on season 2, episode 6. What are you thinking about the season so far? I am just loving the process. I love all the talk, the chatter, except for when people fucking spoil things for me. I definitely see the issues that people have with it. I see some of the critique that I just think that's what happens when there's more all eyes on everything. I kind of wonder back with Game of Thrones if we had TikTok and all these creators and the buzz that we have today. I just see that as more of us are online talking about these things. It does open the door for more scrutiny, so there will naturally be more scrutiny. I like the time it takes to go places. I like those journeys. I mean, remember how long Jaime was just on the King's Road with Brienne of Tarth? And I think Rhaenyra needs to make a little more sense. Damon needs to do something next episode, or he is cut off. He's out of the will. Let me know what you think in the comments. If you like my House of the Dragon commentary, please like and leave a comment letting me know. I'm editing a Dune book scene review, and we'll be talking about the new Dune HBO series also very soon. Have a great day. Love you all so much. I'll talk to you later. Have a great day.